The International Office of Migration hosted a one-day specialized workshop in Belize City to train labor officers how to identify and interview persons who have been trafficked or smuggled.
It's really important that frontline officials, whether they're health providers or labor inspectors or police or neighbors, anyone who's coming in contact with people who might be trafficked persons, if they learn a little bit about the crime and what it looks like, the next time they see it, they might suspect. They might say, that looks a bit like what I learned in this workshop last week with IOM. So knowing a few of the red flags, you don't have to be a lawyer or a police officer and be able to say this is trafficking, this is smuggling, this is some other crime. Because forced labor is a part of trafficking, child labor is a part of trafficking, they are possibly coming into contact when they do their jobs with situations that might not be correct. So if they notice something's wrong, they could save someone's life. They could get someone out of that situation if they realize something's not what it seems here. This might be human trafficking.
Human trafficking and human smuggling, while connected, are different. Rosalind Borland of the IOM shares key signs to look out for so that you can know how to spot someone that's being trafficked versus someone who's being smuggled.
Trafficking is a crime where someone is being forced to work against their will. So they're being tricked, they're being threatened, so they might be in forced work in a restaurant or a shop or a factory or a farm. So we look for things like signs of violence, they're not being paid, they have very poor living conditions, they might sleep in the same place where they work, things like this. So elements of exploitation and violence and abuse. Smuggling is very different. Smuggling is against the migration law. So it's basically an international border crossing that's illegal. So for smuggling, you pay someone to help you get across the border illegally, whether you sneak across or you use fake documents. And there's no necessary element of abuse and exploitation. It does happen sometimes to people who are smuggled, but it's not the crime. The crime is actually the border crossing.
And once you've identified persons who are being smuggled or trafficked, frontline personnel like labor officers must use specialized interview techniques to get the information from these persons. Borland says that while it is not easy, having the right skills can make a big difference.
It's really challenging because many people who've been through human trafficking, they are so scared that they are unwilling to ask for help. They think it'll make their situation worse, and they're afraid of the people who are trying to help them a lot of times. So part of it is good communication skills, a safe, quiet place where you can talk to them alone, telling them that they're safe, telling them they're not going to be detained. In Belize, if someone's a migrant who's not supposed to be here, but they're a victim of trafficking who's forced, they will not be detained and deported, they will be helped. But they don't know that. So it's really important to tell them, look, in our country, this is a crime. It's not okay what's happening to you. We're here to help you, that you were forced to work here. So it's also that you know what the law says and you know what to tell them in terms of their safety and their rights and responsibilities.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.